Welcome to the Glenigan Breakfast Briefing, jointly hosting this event with the Architects Journal.
Will we be seeing a recovery in the commercial sector over the next couple of years? Will it be very much a London-based phenomenon? I suggest that the pace of recovery we're going to see over the next couple of years, if we do see recovery, is going to be somewhat tentative. Some £12.3 billion worth of investment turnover in the central London office market last year. That's a sort of a 20% increase on the previous year. So broadly speaking, actually, after many years of somewhat depressing, falling activity, I really firmly believe we are starting to see a brightening picture coming forward there, both in terms of new investment, whether it be in the capital and I think in the longer term outside the capital and in the other regional centres. And not just in new build, but also in the refurbishment and the retrofitting and bringing up to standard of secondary properties. So I'm pleased to say a brighter picture coming forward over the next couple of years.
Actually, it's things like the recession that challenge the market. And I think the last few years have suggested that the normal stuff isn't quite good enough and we've got to think a bit smarter. The school used to be just open for school hours and closed in the holidays. They're now trying to make them multi-purpose, hard-working community buildings, working 18 hours a day rather than 7 hours a day, and working 50 weeks a year rather than 30 weeks a year. So this idea about making a building that is a place for its bigger community has become increasingly important. And every successful project we've ever done has pretty much broken every single rule a little bit. And by breaking those rules a little bit, you can move the market forward. And I think that's what our role as designers to do, is to challenge and keep actually saying these kind of standardised rules are not what they're about.
When the banks stopped lending, a lot of developers couldn't build. So gone are the debt-funded days of development, when clients could borrow enough money for the plot of land, get the design going, and the money to break ground. And their approach, as a result, is changing. The developer's approach is changing. And this, as far as we understand, is the reason for the continued focus on prime locations, such as London. The Eurozone crisis has actually been very good for London. Italian buyers accounted for 8% of the purchases of prime central London property in January and February, according to Knight Frank, which means they overtook Russians for the first time ever. And 3% of the purchasers were Greek. In this new paradigm, what we expect is that fewer commercial projects will be built, but more of the kind that you need, more high quality design, high quality materials, with an emphasis on low maintenance, low energy costs, and making the end user happy.
I wondered what role you thought renewable technologies have to play in making buildings more efficient.
In a positive way, over the last 10 years, I've seen a huge difference in people's attitude to the environmental performance of their building. So that's massively changed in all fields, and actually BREEAM, excellent is no good now, you have to push towards outstanding. So it's a huge cultural shift, and it becomes part of the tagging of all those buildings, both technically and in promotion, that they've got, embodied energy, all these things are covered, which is great.